came to believe, the spiritual adventure of AA as experienced by individual members. This is Sober Readings for Sunday, June 15th. Chapter 5 continued. This reading is called The Belief Will Come. In the beginning, I rejected any part of the AA program that referred to God in any manner. I even remained silent when they closed the meeting with the Lord's Prayer. I didn't know the words anyhow. Looking back, I don't think I was an agnostic, nor do I think I was an atheist. But I do know this. I couldn't accept any of the God bit, nor did I want to come to believe or have any spiritual awakening. After all, I had come to AA to get sober, and what did all this truck have to do with that? Even with all my stupid arrogance, you still loved me, held out your hand of friendship, and I'm sure used cautious wisdom in trying to reach me with the program. But I could hear only what I wanted to hear. I remained dry for a number of years, and then, as you may have already guessed, I drank again. It was inevitable. I had accepted only those parts of the program that fitted into my life without effort on my part. I was still the self-centered egotist I had always been, still full of all my old hatreds, selfishness, and disbelief, just as lacking in maturity as I had been when I first arrived in AA. This time, when I came to in the hospital, I had absolutely no hope. After all, you had told me that AA was the last hope for the alcoholic, and I had failed. There was nothing else. At this very point, my sister chose to send me a clipping from a Sunday school paper. No letter, just the clipping. Pray with disbelief, but pray with sincerity, and the belief will come. Pray? How could I pray? I didn't know how to pray. Still, I was ready to go to any lengths to get my sobriety and some semblance of a normal life. I guess I just gave up. I stopped fighting. I accepted that which I did not really believe, much less understand. I started praying, not in any formal way. I just talked to God, or rather cried out, "Dear God, help me, I am a drunk." I had nowhere left to turn, except to this God I did not know. I don't really recall any immediate drastic change in my life. I do recall telling my wife how hopeless it all seemed. At her suggestion, I began rereading the Big Book and the 12 Steps. And now I found in these much that I had never found before. I didn't reject any of it. I accepted it just as it was written, nor did I read anything into it that wasn't there. Again, nothing changed overnight. But as time passed, I have acquired a blind and, yes, childlike faith that, by accepting a God I don't understand, and the program of AA, just as it is written, I can maintain my sobriety one day at a time. If I am to have more than this, it will come as time goes by, just as other good things have come. I no longer find it necessary, as I did for years, to prove my disbelief in God by my every thought and deed. Nor do I find it necessary to prove myself to others. No, the only accounting and only proving I have to do is to myself and to God, as I understand Him, or don't understand Him. I'm sure that I shall err from time to time, but I must learn to forgive myself, as God has forgiven me for my past. I think I have had a spiritual awakening as undramatic as it may have been, and that it will go on as long as I continue to practice this program in my daily affairs. To me, there is no spiritual side to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. The entire program is spiritual. In my view, some of the evidences of a spiritual awakening are maturity, an end to habitual hatred, the ability to love and to be loved in return, the ability to believe, even without understanding, that something lets the sun rise in the morning and set at night, makes the leaves come out in the spring and drop off in the fall, and gives the birds song. Why not let this something be God? That's from St. Petersburg, Florida. The next story is titled, On a Big Screen. I drank for about 28 years, starting out as a social drinker, becoming a periodic drunk, then a compulsive drinker. My drinker cost me my home, my first wife, my children, and just about everything I had ever worked for all my life. I was arrested for being drunk in public. I developed TB, and I knew that my heavy drinking had probably brought it on. In 4 months, I was in and out of 4 alcoholic wards in different hospitals. On my release from the last one, I stayed drunk for 3 solid weeks and woke up in jail again. I thought I was there, as before, for being a drunk in public. But after asking, I found out that I had committed a felony. On a cold morning, I entered the penitentiary to begin a 5-year sentence. After being processed and taken to my cell in the receiving unit and hearing that iron door slam behind me, I thought this was the end for me. I had gone just about as far down as I could go, and I felt there was no hope. In the next 5 weeks, I sat in that small cell and blamed everyone but myself for all my past and present troubles. No one could be more full of resentment, hate, and self-pity than I was at that time. One night, while I was in my cell, looking at the 4 walls, my whole past life seemed to open up before me, as if on a big screen. I could plainly see for the first time all the heartaches and misery and pain that I had brought on everyone in the past. My mother and father, my first wife and my children, my present wife, and all my friends. For the first time, I realized none of these people were wrong. I was the one who was wrong. All of the things that had happened to me, I had brought on myself while drinking. I believe this moment was the first time I had been honest with myself in many years. Soon after that, I received a letter from the clerk of the prison AA group. I had a faint idea what AA was, but that was all. The letter invited me to come to the meetings if I thought I might have a drinking problem. The next Sunday, I attended my first meeting, and when I left that room, I had an open mind and an honest desire to stop drinking for the first time in my life. I had again accepted God as I once knew Him, and once again I ask for His help each morning when I wake up and give Him my thanks each night when I go to bed. I have my loving second wife back again, and she also is an AA member now. Last February, I had my first anniversary in AA. Today, I am living in a minimum security prison on a farm. I have a parole hearing coming up, and with the grace of God, I will be home soon with my wife and family. If it had not been for the spiritual awakening I had that night in my prison cell, if I had not once again come to believe in a power greater than myself, none of these things I have today would be possible. Jefferson City, Missouri. That's it for today's reading of Came to Believe. Next week, we'll read the last 2 sections of Chapter 5. Until next time, don't drink, go to a meeting, and keep coming back. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. And as my friend Larry says, best day ever.